13. Secret Service. During the Civil War, the combination of new revenue legislation and scandals within the Treasury Department prompted congressional action with a view to providing the Secretary of the Treasury with some investigative authority to deal with fraud. In 1863, legislation was enacted authorizing the Secretary to, quote, appoint not exceeding 3 revenue agents to aid in the prevention, detection, and punishment of frauds upon the revenue, end quote. From these statutory origins would evolve the Intelligence Division and Security Inspection Division of the current Internal Revenue Service and the Enforcement Branch of the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Division. From the experience of this early investigative authority and the need to operationalize prior mandates regarding the prevention of counterfeiting, a Secret Service Division was established within the Treasury Department in July 1865, to be initially supervised by the Solicitor of the Treasury and later by an Assistant Secretary, and in 1933 came under the direct authority of the Secretary. The head of the new organization, William P. Wood, was sworn in on July 5th. A close personal friend of Secretary of War Stanton, Wood undoubtedly became acquainted with Lafayette Baker while serving as keeper of the old Capitol Prison, and he may also have known Pinkerton or his operatives. He served as both a detective and as a spy in Stanton's employ, and was detailed on one occasion to the Treasury Department to probe counterfeiting matters. While running the old Capitol Prison, quote, Wood assigned undercover agents to pose as Southern sympathizers who could smuggle mail from Richmond to Washington. The letters were brought to him at the prison, where he skillfully opened, read, copied, and resealed them for transmission to their destinations. The information they contained was funneled to Stanton's office and served as valuable leads for the conduct of the war. Prospective movements of Southern forces were revealed in this way, including plans for Lee's northern advances, which ended in the Battle of Gettysburg. End quote. Footnote: Walter S. Bowen and Harry Edward Neal, The United States Secret Service, Philadelphia and New York, Chilton Company, 1960, page 13. End footnote. As head of the Secret Service, Wood had a force of approximately 30 men, some of whom were former private detectives he had known while pursuing counterfeiters, and others were personal friends he had directed in wartime intelligence activities. 6 general orders guided these personnel. 1. Each man must recognize that his service belongs to the government through 24 hours of every day. 2. All must agree to assignment to the locations chosen by the chief and respond to whatever mobility of movement the work might require. 3. All must exercise such careful saving of money spent for travel, subsistence, and payments for information as can be self-evidently justified. 4. Continuing employment in the service will depend upon demonstrated fitness, ability as investigators, and honesty and fidelity in all transactions. 5. The title of regular employees will be operative, Secret Service. Temporary employees will be assistant operatives or informants. 6. All employment will be at a daily pay rate, accounts submitted monthly. Each operative will be expected to keep on hand enough personal reserve funds to carry on service business between paydays. End quote. Distributed among 11 cities with a national office in Washington, the agents carried no badges or official identification other than handwritten letters of appointment. U.S. Marshals and other peace officers were notified by circular of the existence of the new organization and its purposes. At the end of its first year of operation, the agency had captured over 200 counterfeiters and had established a close working relationship with marshals, local police departments, and United States attorneys in various localities. Wood remained in charge of the Secret Service until 1869, when he was succeeded by Herman C. Whitley, who, like Wood, had been an Army detective during the war and had later associated himself with the Internal Revenue Bureau. Over the next half-century, the service would be led by 7 other men: Secret Service Chiefs: William P. Wood, 1865 to 1869. Herman C. Whitley, 1869 to 1874. Elmer Washburn, 1874 to 1876. James J. Brooks, 1876 to 1888. John S. Bell, 1888 through 1890. A. L. Drummond, 1891 to 1894. William P. Hazen, 1894 to 1898. John E. Wilkie, 1898 to 1911. William J. Flynn, 1912 through 1917. During this period, the Secret Service investigated a variety of matters in addition to counterfeiting, including the mafia, gambling interests, peonage practices, the security of Treasury Department facilities concerned with the production of securities and money, alcohol revenue enforcement, and the activities of the Ku Klux Klan. The intelligence structures and techniques developed in conjunction with these probes are difficult to assess. The Secret Service was a permanent structure with regional offices. In pursuing counterfeiters, organized crime, and gambling interests, the service cooperated with various subnational law enforcement agencies and informers. Concentrating on these subjects, the organization undoubtedly cultivated sources of continuing intelligence at the local level. Before the advent of World War I in 1902, in the aftermath of the assassination of President William McKinley, the Secret Service was assigned the function of protecting the president, a mission which would encourage intelligence gathering regarding any and all enemies of the chief executive. This is Our Hidden History